Tell me, do you know what day it is, Evie?
November the 4th.
Not anymore. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. First, the overture. Yes, the strings. Listen carefully, can you hear it? Now the brass.
I can hear it. Look outside, Mummy. They're playing music. How did you do that?
Wait, here comes the crescendo.
Hey YouTube world, Harvest is plenty. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video, guys. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button for me and smash that like button for me. I really appreciate your support. Also, thank you to my new subscribers, and thank you to all my past and old subscribers who've been riding with me since day one. I greatly appreciate you guys. So, today is November 5th, 2024. This is Selection Day. I know many of you will call it Election Day, but it's not an election. It's a selection because the candidates are selected ahead of time. I've always told you guys that, even though some of you don't even believe me. And that's cool. No love lost. Still love you. But I've been sitting on this interview that I'm getting ready to share with you guys for a long time. As I've mentioned previously a number of times, I've been researching and studying this stuff for over 20 years now. I have a lot of interviews. I have a lot of books, videos, DVDs that I've compiled, and I've been sharing it with you guys. This one is with a 32nd degree Freemason. Wait, let me dial it back. He's an ex 32nd degree Freemason because he gave his life to Christ, Jesus Christ, that is. And he's going to share some things with you that was discussed in the lodge, and maybe you believe him, maybe you don't. I'm just going to bring you the information as I always do and let you make your own decision. Now, again, this was from 2019, and I have a lot of interviews with this particular gentleman. I have an interview from 2021 where he said that Joe Biden was going to step down for health reasons. This was an interview he did in 2021 that I will share later on, that he said Joe Biden was going to step down and that Harris was going to take over, and that's exactly what happened. He also said in 2021 that there was going to be a fake, staged assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life, and that Trump was 100% a part of it, and that also took place. But anyway, let's jump to this interview, and you're going to hear all the stuff that I've been telling you about Atlantis, about the pre-flood world, about the New World Order, about the selections of presidents ahead of time. Also, I will say this. He also said that the grid was 100% most definitely going to go down at some point. So I suggest you prep and get ready. All right, I love you guys. Let's jump into this interview, and I'll be back with more videos. May the good Lord continue to bless you and your family. Stay safe out there.
Maybe you'd like to just recap very briefly a little bit of what we covered last time, who you are and so on.
Sure. I come from a family that have always been in Freemasonry and mostly in Shriners and Eastern Star, the women, back as far as I know of. Great aunts, great uncles, cousins, just really deep there. And was pretty much, I guess, groomed for it, knowing I'd be a part of it. And I joined, spent about a decade and a half in it, and saw the way it was steering toward Lucifer and Antichrist, everything, really, and being pretty much brainwashed. And then finding the truth of Jesus Christ and changing my life for Him and getting out of it and attempting to get my family and friends out of it and anyone really, and trying to do the right thing and make up for some of the bad that I've done in it. And I want to let people know about what it really is that are in it, that haven't gone up that far yet or that are thinking about joining it. I went to the 32nd degree in the Scottish Rite, and I just think people should know the truth about it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so we've got more to cover today. What topics are you sort of wanting to really get across?
Well, I thought we should discuss what Freemasons see to come, the way it's going to come, this one new world, and some of the events that's happened today that I didn't discuss last time. And I didn't want to go too deep about some subjects because it's pretty crazy. And the few people that I've got into a dialogue with about it, I could see them not really believing it, but I would think your audience could easily see it. I mentioned I went to this small lodge for years, and the larger one was a few counties away, the Scottish Rite. It was not closed, so I only went once a month, but it was a large lodge. And this is where the more important people, there was a congressman and a senator, and former congressman and senator. And so deep dialogues was held there. And this is where I've heard a lot of what I'm going to discuss tonight. But they believe that that this bloodline is what is going to rule the world after the one new world forms. And I'll jump back to that, but I need to discuss this first. With Trump, I remember, and I was really in deep when he started running. And you asked me before what political groups did I see in Freemasonry. And I said it was both just the person who would be perfect white for that area where they live and believe values of that society, but not Jesus. That's the type of person. So they're really both parties. But they believe that, or they said Trump, they 100% knew a conservative was going to win. I don't ever recall hearing them say it's going to be Trump, Trump's going to win. But after it was clear it was only him, they knew it. And this was in the bigger lodge. It was hands down he was going to win. And I said, I remember saying, why? Because everything he's saying is tearing up this liberal view that's stripping down Christian, what's left of that society that's strong. They're tearing it down, which is what they want. And he said to me, and this was a senator, a former senator, they're going to run a conservative that is so conservative and so outspoken that the left, and that's these people who, again, their names are taken. They want to make sure a conservative, this is what I heard then, never gets elected again or has the ability to be elected. They pulled every trick they had. I believe when he ran, when they saw it was going to be him, maybe they knew from the start, I don't know, and then maybe when it was clear, it was just him and Hillary Clinton, who, by the way, were cousins. Maybe it didn't matter, and that's just who they had to go with, but it was clear it was going to be a conservative. And the way that society went crazy, that's exactly what they wanted. And the things that he said and done, and obviously have really turned the left faction and a lot of people against him, they want to make sure, and they're trying hard, that nobody like him, even a normal conservative, gets back in. And I believe they've done a good job. Now, when I think of the world, these countries, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and America, I don't think they make mistakes. I mean, I think they plan for every scenario. And I think these are the people that's running it, that would be well over Freemasons, but they're still in that religion. I think everything has been orchestrated. Maybe it's, taken different lengths of time than they wanted. I don't know. But this presidency is one thing I can remember from the last major event when I was involved in Scottish Rite. It was clear he was going to get it, or a conservative was going to get it. It was clear. And then with him, it was then clear it was going to be him. And, I thought about that after I left, and it made perfect sense. Obama was so left, and everybody loved him, and he stripped everything down, as much as he could to more socialism, and never when he made a speech at the university there in Maryland, I think it was Georgetown, and he covered it. He had that IHS covered up. You remember that? Did you know about that? He went to a university and had it covered up. That was a big deal in Freemasonry. I remember that. And they were clapping and they were amazed that he was doing this. Now, before, when I mentioned that a police officer had joined the lodge and said he believed in Jesus as God, I said that they told him he'd done the right thing and put their arm around him, but he went up, but he didn't go up. The reason they didn't just completely end it with him is they feel if you know Jesus died for you, died for your sins, and you then reject him and hold their light to be true, there's something really big about that. I don't know if, and this sounds crazy, but I don't know if somehow they get benefits from the fallen realm, which I think is very possible. Whatever caliber, monetary, or I don't know, but whatever it is, this is the one thing they want the most. If you know who Jesus is and know what he did, they want you bad, and that's why they didn't throw him out. They played him, and he just, it was clear that he wasn't gonna do or say any act to be anything negative against Jesus, and so that's when they just, anybody with sense would have left the way he was treated. But these events that's going on now, I mentioned before that they believe there was going to be one event, or I said I believe there's going to be one event. And what I've heard is that one event, when everything is ready, and they don't say it like the way I'm saying it. It's like you're standing at it's like Senate's in session and they're discussing. I mean, it sounds legitimate. When these different cultures are pushed together, and they obviously hate Islam, but they don't. And there's ties to it with Shriners too, which I'll mention. Another reason, again, I didn't say much about Shriners is that is a deep subject, and to jump on that early would have, some people may have thought I was crazy, but they believe that that's going to help take away this far right and right, or the moral Christians that's left, and these people will be re-educated to not believe that barbarianism or these third world Islamic countries, not to believe it's right, and not even to be more accepting of it, but to merge that with their, I don't even want to say heritage, because they want all that gone.
Okay, now I just want to backtrack to Trump for a minute. Back in December 2015, Joni Stahl was told by a Secret Service agent that Donald Trump had been chosen 2 years previously to be the next president of the United States. She was told absolutely Trump was chosen at that point, and we actually aired that in January 2016 in an interview I did with Joni Stahl. So that was like 11 months before the election, and from that point on, I pretty much was convinced that Donald Trump was going to be the next president and never really had any doubt about it. And Joni was pretty much the same, and it was actually someone who was in Obama's administration. The Secret Service agent was guarding someone in Obama's administration that actually told Joni that. And so right from the whole way through, neither of us believed Donald Trump was an outsider and all this nonsense. We were fully expecting Donald Trump would be the next president. So really, what you've just shared is added confirmation to what we already suspected and believed, in fact, to be the case.
I'll have to go back and listen to that. I didn't know that. That's something. But you're exactly right. It was easy, but it's portrayed. I believe 100%. He's with them. He's right there with them. I mean, it's obvious that he's. I mean, the people that's financed him and that he's worked with and Kissinger. I mean, it's, if people can't see that, I mean, yeah, build a little wall. I'm gonna help the economy. This is another main thing that I'm sad to say, and it hurts me because I live in this world too. You hear people, and I see these videos to where they love Trump, and it's not about Trump, and they talk about, well, things are going to change. You're getting better. They're going to change. We're in a time it's not going to happen. The good stuff is gone, and at the point that they believe they're in, which I believe too, is that close to the end. Things can't get better. I mean, not for us. They can only just continue to benefit that part of society. And when you told me about Joni Stahl there, that really blew my mind. Makes me think it was even for more people knew about it than I thought.
Well, the Secret Service agent that told Joni Stahl was actually assigned to John Boehner, who was the Speaker of the House at the time. And he actually said that once his assignment was over, he was going to head off to Belgium and get out of the USA. So, yeah, it was that was December 2015 when she was told that.
And that's about when I heard that. Yeah, that's about when at the same time too. Yes, I believe again that if people look at the facts, he's right there with them, and it's everything about him. So I don't think you're going to get to that position, period, if they don't want you there. I just don't think it today. I don't think it's even possible. But from what I understood, there are two factions of these groups that I don't know that it's the ones that run the world, or if who's running the world, they have two different ideas about who's going to. But there's two different groups of people, and I heard this for years, and I know the Catholic Church is involved with one. That is a fact. I mean, hands down, the Catholic Church was discussed ad nauseum when it come to this kind of stuff. So, and when this Pope ran, there was a fella who Tom Horn, I remember seeing it afterward. He came out and said that he thought the Pope was going. They said in Freemasonry that he was going to resign. They didn't say it. Well, they never said a date to me. But, and I'm not saying he's part of that. I just think it's interesting that that came from the same, you know. But they said this one, what I heard was for the next, like Trump, you know, he's laying it so the next get in. That's what I heard, that this next one, that Francis was for the next one. And they believe that, and this is another thing I heard him say, and I never looked this stuff up or listened to it when I was in Freemasonry, because I didn't think people knew. And some people knew things, of course, I certainly didn't ever know. But a lot of the things I did, I would hear certain people talk about it, and it wasn't people who left Freemasonry. It was people like him and you know, that researched it. And it blew my mind that the amount of people today know, and yet, you know, which I guess is really, if we are at that level at the end, what can you do? These events have to fulfill themselves in order for, you know, Christ to come. I mean, I think, you know, there obviously are some things you can do, but I would love to go home, you know. And the rapture.
Yeah, do they believe in a rapture?
They do not believe in a pre-trib rapture. And they believe 100% that the Bible does not state that. And I believe that they found substantial evidence to prove this because of the immense amount of work that they've planned on for after people think one's going to come. They want people to believe that Jesus is not real, or just they know that Jesus is coming, and they believe that the Bible says, and you know, that he's coming at the end. And but there's going to be people are going to have to go through some stuff. I believe that, and they have always said that. And they want people to think that he left them here, or again, that he's just not real. And that's when this religion of light is going to come out and really start to change the world. I mean, you know, Marxist style, dictatorship style. And, you know, they, you know, it says they want to literally, and this, I know this sounds crazy, but this is something I have absolutely heard. They believe Hitler deconsecrated Europe to the Jews by spreading their ashes across Europe and burning them. And I have heard that they want to do that to Jerusalem and to Israel. And they believe that the Bible states there will be human sacrifice. And I know that's deep. And they believe that, I don't know a lot of details on this, but I do know that Islam plays a part, but Judaism plays the biggest part, is what I've heard, for their Messiah. That they believe it has to be that religion because that, well, this is not how they said it, but this is really how it is, because he can do it better than Jesus. You know, he can be the Jewish Messiah better than Jesus, because they believe that's his brother. So, you know, what he's going to do will always be a counterfeit and a fake of what Jesus did.
So when you're saying that, are you meaning that Lucifer will produce the counterfeit?
Yes. The Antichrist, you know, the Antichrist. They believe that the Jewish people will line up for this man, and that he will, I never heard him say he was going to be Jewish, but it's going to play a part in it. So maybe he'll be somebody like Trump who really favors him and is doing all this stuff, maybe. You know, there is some, you know, a lot of stuff about him but that makes you think that it could line up. And I don't mean with him, because it's clear there's somebody after him. That's always been clear. That was always clear. And what's next after him, I really believe, from what I've heard, I believe that'll be it. I believe that, when I say it, I mean, I don't think there's going to be another one. I think this one will come in. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I don't know. And I believe that he will, or this person will somehow, events are going to happen probably that keep him there, but or he makes himself a dictator. I don't know, but that's what I believe from what I've heard. And everything about this end time is based on this pre-flood, the golden time, everything, or Atlantis, or whatever you want to call it. Atlantis had seven, or seven, wasn't it seven? Was it seven king? Somehow there was relation there. I may be wrong, but there's so much stuff I've went through over the years with this. It's a wonder I can even hold a normal dialogue. But somehow it related. Maybe it was the mountains or the territories. I don't know. Somehow Atlantis played a big part in these end time scenarios.